Jeff Kitson is back from Florida to Michigan, where boating season is starting to wake up from a winter's hibernation, Julia.
Oh, hard to tell.
Well, it's pretty chilly here still. We got Sail GP coming next weekend. I hope it's not too cold.
No, and I was afraid it was going to rain, but it's not.
No, but it's going to be okay on Saturday, lightish on Sunday. That's the forecast. We'll go in to get into all that. Hello, everybody. Tuesday, the 18th of March. It is the day after St. Patty's Day. We're live here from Studio B at the Beach Street Yacht Club in San Francisco's beautiful Marina District. My co-hostess, Julia Badekin. I trust you are well.
I am.
Any hot tips?
We all survived St. Patrick's Day.
Well, I'm sure. There's Steve Atkins, who says he's bang right on time. Bannero's checking in also. There's two Connecticuters. What's a person from Connecticut called? Connecticutter?
Nutmeg.
A nutmegger. The Nutmeg State. Alan Long in Belize, where it's 85 degrees. Nice to be in Belize. Hello, David James. Wishing you happy birthday, Julia. He
Thank
must
you.
know something I don't know.
Thank you.
Alistair Murray checking in from Meetung. Hoping Julia had a good birthday. Well, it's the day after your birthday down there, so see, we don't have to celebrate it. We skip it. Ed Worley, Mark Holland, and lots of others checking in. I'm your host, Tom Eamon. Welcome to our show number 817. Thank you for joining us. Today's show, busy one, even though we're between the Southern Hemisphere summer and our Northern Hemisphere winter, but the season is waking up, as you heard Jeff and others say, Jeff Kitson. Happy Tuesday and a happy birthday, Julia, to someone very especial. I wonder who that might be.
I don't know.
Thanks to Kimball Livingston and his expert youth sailing panel from Friday's show. St. Patty's Day, special tribute to Sir Thomas Lipton and his Shamrock 5, the fifth and final yacht that he raced in the America's Cup. Coaching Corner. John Emmett is going to be on talking about Friday's show and the USA's approach to youth sailing. He has some interesting thoughts, provocative thoughts indeed. We'll do a review of Sail GP in LA last weekend, and for the first time ever, they're doing back-to-back weekends. They're up here in San Francisco this weekend. We'll have more of a preview on Friday, but we'll get into it a bit today. And then congratulations, Bravo Zulu to Tom Needham, and his superb Team Yandu. They had an impressive win in the JJ Gilt, and then won a bunch of races and really dominated. They all but won it going into the last race. Fozy Focus, speaking of Steve Atkins, he's started out the chilly Northern Hemisphere sailing season racing Etchells last weekend when it was blowing dogs off chains.
It's a bit cold.
And a nice video from Rolex, who are celebrating foiling. I think it's Kayard's voice at the start of that video. We'll see what you all think. And how winning Sail GP is a quote unquote crowning achievement. Of course, if you have a Rolex, Julie, you got a crown on it, right?
Oh, yes.
A crowning achievement. I thought that was pretty clever. And of course, our usual from Day in History, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, and our fantastic Fozy Chat. That is today's show. Thank you for joining us. And we start by thanking Kimball Livingston and his panel, talking about the rise of private use sailing teams. It was Nick Adamson, Jeff Bonani, Amy, I hope it's Bonani or Bonani. I'm not sure which, Jeff, sorry. Amy Gross-Kehoe and Phil Muller. They were a superb panel. And it was a long show, Julie. We went, 3.5 hours?
We did.
I think. Lots going on, and also a lot of opinions and views from not only our panelists, but those of you commenting. We had over close to 400 comments again on Friday's show.
Yes. Before, during, and after.
That's fair you after. Ed Worley checking in, saying hello to the Fozy. Hello to you, Ed. The rest of that panel, besides Kimball there in the upper right-hand corner, again, Amy, Nick, Kimball, and Jeff, and Phil. That's not quite clockwise. That's left to right across the top and then left to right across the bottom. Thank you, lady and gents. And Commodore Kimball Livingston, a staff Commodore, past Commodore here of Julia's primary club.
Yes.
I'm also a proud member. Thanks to them for last Friday's show. And John Emmett's got some reaction to that. That's, again, as I said in the show notes, you're going to find quite interesting. This Friday, apropos our show earlier last week, Chicago Yacht Club is having their 150th anniversary summer. They've been going since 1875, one of the great yacht clubs in this country, if not the world. and they still have a few tickets left, not many. So if you want to go, if you're in the upper Midwest or will be there this Friday night, the 21st, they join them for an Australian-themed dinner and panel discussion focusing on Chicago Yacht Club's initiative to bring the America's Cup back to the U.S. and Chicago back in 1986-87, the legal challenges that proved to Lake Michigan was on an arm of the sea, and reflections on crew selection and training, and commentary and video clips in Australia by Gary Jobson, who will be there in person. All club members, crew members, and other interested sailors are welcome to join the dinner and presentation. The tariff is not large. It's an inexpensive dinner at the club's Monroe Street station, the main station at the foot of Monroe Street in Chicago, this Friday, the 21st of March. I wish I could go.
Yeah, I look forward to hearing more about that.
Well, I think their whole summer is going to be superb. I mean, they're running what Clark was telling us, Clark Chapin, they're 8th or 9th or something.
Well, I thought it was 50th.
No, they're 100 and something Chicago Mackinac race.
Oh, yes, 100.
Something. I can't remember. Do you remember what he said?
I think it was 108. Yeah.
Yeah, coming up this summer. That's not the longest, but one of the longest freshwater offshore races in the world, to say nothing of this country. But what else are we celebrating, Julia, here? Or we're celebrating? What's happened since?
Oh, that's Shamrock, though.
Exactly. Since our last show, in honor of St. Paddy's Day, we had that picture I had that on my Facebook page. Shamrock 5 is a British J-class yacht. She was the first British yacht to be built to the new J-class rule. She was commissioned by Sir Thomas Lipton for his 5th America's Cup Challenge, although refitted several times. Shamrock is the only original J-class never to have fallen into dereliction.
That's
something cool and significant, don't you think?
Absolutely. It still looks beautiful.
It does indeed. And there's some interesting factoids here I dug up. During May and June of 1930, the New York Yacht Club, in fact, it was before that, but just before, this was the 1930 challenge, the first of the J-boat challenges, and the last of Sir Thomas Lipton's 5 challenges. New York Yacht Club and the Royal Ulster negotiated the conditions of the challenge. Changes to the terms of the competition since the previous challenge of 1920 included that the races be held off Newport instead of in Lower New York Harbor and off Sandy Hook, New Jersey. So they moved them finally to Newport, but not for the reason you might think. That the match consists of the best of 7 races instead of the best of 5. That the yachts be built to the J-class standard, the class rule, therefore eliminating the need to calculate handicaps for substantially different yacht designs. That the yachts be Marconi rigged, which of course is sloop rigged, mainsail and jib and a spinnaker. That the yachts, and this was a big deal, that the yachts comply, both the Defender and the Challenger comply with Lloyd's Register Scantling rules for structural strength.
I don't understand the word scantling.
Scantling is just the structural rules.
Okay.
And by the way, Lloyd's Scantling rules applied to the 12-meter class right up to the end of in fact, to the very last 12-meter event. The late, great Gianfranco Alberini of the Yacht Club Costa Smaller, when they were Challenger record, said, why do we need Lloyd's Scantling's, Lloyd's construction rules? Why don't we just build your boat to the class rule, and if it breaks, it breaks. What a concept. But this was interesting because, remember, they had to sail over on their own bottoms from Europe to, well, in this case, Newport, before that to New York. And you had to have a boat that could withstand the North Atlantic.
You're right.
And in the spring even, and you're going uphill, basically, you're going against the wind. And the Defender didn't have to do that. So it was really quite unfair to the Challenger. And for the 1930 match, both the Challenger and the Defender had to be built for the first time to Lloyd's Scantling. So Lloyd's of London came in and said the boat's got to be this thick at this point, and the woods or whatever the material has to be checked by us and be sure that it meets these minimum strength standards, Scantling. Structural standings.
Yeah.
Standards or Scantlings. So that was novel. And the implications of that final point, as we've been discussing, were that the Challenger would not be disadvantaged by having a hull built strong enough to meet the current safety standards for a transatlantic crossing, therefore heavier than the previous generation of yachts. And it would also preclude, because they had to be built to Lloyd's Scantlings, that would preclude the previous yachts, Resolute and Vanity, from defending the Cup. Both have been built to defend the Cup in what was an ostensible 1914 challenge that got called off because of the war. And neither Resolute nor Vanity were built sturdily enough to meet those new regs. The relocation, get this, and I'd never heard this before. I'd be interested to see if any of you think this is true or maybe Crutonic. The relocation to Newport was not because of all the traffic in Newport, New York Harbor by then, or not because the mansions in Newport in the summer and no air conditioning, it was a lot cooler. But as this last sentence says, the relocation to Newport, according to Wikipedia, was to accommodate the tall mass of this new J class, too tall to pass under many of the bridges over the East River in New York.
Oh, well, that's interesting.
And I wonder if that's really true. I wonder if that's really true. But that was an assertion. Could be one of the reasons. I suppose there were a number of reasons why they moved it up to Newport, perhaps including that reason. Here is a fabulous, that's not a photo, that is a painting.
Oh my.
It's in the J. Russell Genesian. One of you will know where that is and how to pronounce it. I hope that's close. Of the two yachts racing in the 1930 America's Cup, and of course that's Enterprise, Commodore Vanderbilt's Enterprise on the left, and Sir Thomas, actually it's Lipton's yacht, that's Shamrock, crossing ahead of Enterprise in the, I think the second race of the 1930 match. And it's interesting because up there ahead in the background to the left, lower left corner, is supposedly, it's a painting that depicts Enterprise and Shamrock at the start of the third race. That was it. Both yachts started on starboard tack. Enterprise to leeward of Shamrock. The 13-knot breeze off Newport was ideal. This is the moment the two yachts cross the starting line, where the America's Cup buoy is visible and Shamrock's windward bow. Off the bow is the buoy, but also is Sir Thomas Lipton's yacht, Erin. Off, see it there in the lower left corner, and then in the yachts in the lower right corner in the background are the official New York Yacht Club boat and Vanderbilt's yacht and so on. So it's a painting, not a photo. I'm going to go back.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back one more.
It's majestic.
And Julia, you can have that. I'd buy it for you for your birthday, but I'm too poor. You can have that for $65,000.
Oh, well, let's have two.
It's an oil.
Yeah.
It's 30 by 40 inches. So it's nearly a meter tall and a meter and change wide. Yours for only $65,000, painted by the gentleman, what was his name? I had it, there it is, Shane Couch, a Brit who was born in 1963. And I looked on his website. He's a fabulous painter of lots of different things, including and especially the America's Cup. So Shamrock's challenge was plagued by bad luck and haunted by one of the most ruthless skippers in America's Cup history, one of the three-time winners, that is, Harold Vanderbilt. Sir Thomas Lipton, after endearing himself to the American public during 31 years and fully five attempts, would die the following year, never fulfilling his ambition to win the Cup. And as we've said on this show before, the mayor of New York, remember who the mayor was at that time in the 30s?
No.
Jimmy Wagner.
I didn't know that.
Threw a ticker tape parade down Fifth Avenue for Sir Thomas Lipton in his honor. Gave him a little loving cup, a little trophy.
I remember that.
Remember we talked about that? And inscribed on that loving cup was, to the world's best loser.
Yeah. Yes.
And it exists. It's up on the, last time I knew, it was up on the fourth floor in the trophy cabinet.
Yeah, it's super. Well,
up there on the fourth floor.
And undoubtedly he was.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
And he was loved, and he sold lots and lots of tea. And groceries on both sides of the Atlantic. Now, New York Yacht Club, by the way, has redone the, when you come in and go down a few steps to head to the bar.
Yeah.
They've redone that area that's kind of the ante room there, and it's now a beautiful, they've collected all the magnificent silver and gold trophies in one area. I have a photo of it, but I'm not at liberty to use it and it's spectacular.
Ah,
So when you next get the New York Yacht Club or Magnus the Magnificent or anybody
right.
who's seen it can attest what a spectacular trophy case. I mean, it's several cases in that room outside the bar. Just back to Shamrock for a sec. The challenge we said was plagued by bad luck, but they lost 4-0, and you can see the losing times are significant. But what I really wanted to point out is they used the deed of gift courses more or less, and this was by negotiation. The first race was 15 miles leeward, meaning downhill,
Mm-hmm.
and return back upwind.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what direction the wind was that day.
Who knows?
Maybe it was a northerly, and that's why they did leeward and return. September 15th was the deed, almost 10 miles aside, 30-mile equilateral triangle. Then on September 17th was 15 miles windward and return.
Mm-hmm.
So they went uphill first, then back,
Mm-hmm.
and then another triangular race, which is what the deed of gift calls for in principle.
Mm-hmm.
It's first to win 2 of 3. And those courses are actually equilateral triangle is 13, 13, and 13 from memory, 39 miles. And the windward lewards are 20 up and 20 back under the original deed of gift. So that's our tribute, our special sailing tribute to Sir Thomas Lipton and to Shamrock 5 and to yesterday's St. Paddy's Day. This is how the rest of you celebrated it around the world. I thought the biggest parade was in Dublin, but apparently it's in New York City.
Yeah.
Here, so it's
Well,
just
and San
incredible.
Francisco has.
Yeah, it's the most beautiful show I ever seen. Yes.
Well, I think it's a day of celebration. I think that we have to look around the world and realize that there's so many different things that are happening that people aren't on the same page. And for St. Paddy's Day, maybe this is the day that we can turn everything around.
That's good.
Well, it is amazing. Every big city in the U.S., I think, has a St. Patrick's Day parade, don't they? Now, this is Chicago, where they turn the Chicago River green.
I think
every
we
year.
have a bigger celebration of St. Patrick's Day here in Chicago than we do in Ireland.
Ooh. Somebody said that San Francisco.
Yeah, there's some other voiceovers here. Just I happen to know where they are because I've watched the video. San Francisco's is big.
First in the U.S.
Oh, I think New York's way bigger.
No, it began
Oh,
first.
begin. Oh, that's well. Here's Boston, which is an Irish Catholic town, if ever there was one.
Oh, yes.
Shout out to the nation, baby.
I think it's just the atmosphere of the day and celebrating the culture of Ireland. It's great to see people of all different corners of the world getting together, celebrating Irish culture and being in Dublin all
The
together.
authentic
Nothing beats it.
Yeah.
Irish.
I like
Dublin
that
parade.
everyone just comes together, I think. Like, I've seen people from like all over the world even come, and it's just nice to see everyone like know that we're here too. Like, do you know what I mean? Support a holiday from here. I think that's nice.
I like this Now, this is in a town way out on the west, on the Atlantic in Ireland, called Dingle. I had to research Dingle. It's apparently the last parade because it's out to the west, at least in Ireland. And as you would expect, there are there are certain rumors about dingle. So I have a correct or crutonic, Julia.
Yes.
Is it correct or crutonic in the true or false sense of the word that out in Dingle, and here's where Dingle is. It's way out on the Atlantic, southwest corner of Ireland. And it's a fishing, and there's a lot of tourism now, and it's in County Kerry.
Mm.
Correct or crutonic, the word dingleberry originated in Dingle.
Well, I don't know why I wouldn't.
Do you know the word dingleberry, what it means?
Mm-mm.
Okay, good. I was hoping you wouldn't. We'll leave it to the Fosey, and no one has Larry Kennedy saying, well, you all can click in. Correct or crutonic? Dingleberry, the word originated in Dingle, Ireland. Jody Shields will be in Ireland in 5 weeks' time.
I forwarded an invitation to an Irish celebration in Cobh this year.
In where?
Cobh.
Cobh. How do you spell it?
Cobh. It's the main harbor in the southern, and it has a 300-year-old.
Yes, spit it out. Spit it out.
Yacht club, I think, too.
No, that's Cork. Cork has a 300-year-old yacht club.
But
let's see if Dingleberry came from the town Dingle or not, Julia. What do the Fosey think? Is it correct or crutonic?
Alistair's going there for a bike ride in July.
I'm going to Dingle. Yes, he is. And Clayton Embley thinks that it originated on the planet Uranus or Uranus. In Australia, sheeps have dags, not dingleberries.
Mm-hmm.
As Clark Chapin knows, we have, I think it's still there, a boat in our interlake fleet on our home lake called Farkleberry. Why, I'm not quite sure. Joe Holtzman thought that dingleberries came from Ann Arbor. He remembers that boat called Farkleberry. Okay, we don't have a big crowd wanting to take this one on, maybe for obvious reasons, Julia.
Yes. It's
not a polite word, really. But, oh my God. Dingleberry means Klingon. Ted Ryman, that's funny. Chris Fury will be in Cork. There's a lot of Aussies going to Cork and to Ireland. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's put this one. This needs a... Now on to the origins of the word itself. While the exact etymology of dingleberry remains somewhat murky, it is believed to have originated in the United States in the mid-20th century. Some suggest that the term may have derived from the word dangle, referencing the way these pesky bits of debris hang from the body. You say debris, debris, or debris?
Debris.
We Americans do. Hang from the body. Others attribute its origin to the resemblance of the word to dingus, a slang term for a foolish or inept person. I thought dingus meant something else, Julia.
I did too.
Whatever its origins, dingleberry has certainly cemented its place in the lexicon of colorful colloquialism.
Yes.
Okay. Are you getting the idea what a dingleberry is?
Yes.
Okay. Enough of that. That's our tribute to St. Patrick's Day. Karen Chapin, that's actually Clark on Karen's computer, saying Farkleberry was a term from Sesame Street. Sadly, Farkleberry 2 has been decommissioned by Commodore Craig Keevy. Okay, that's another boat in our fleet at our home Portage Yacht Club. Okay, enough of this madness. Finger wag for Tom, Clayton Embley is saying, Julia.
Why? Because
of my putting this into the show. Dingleberry. Steve Gruber asserts that a dingleberry is also a type of cranberry. Really?
I would think so.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Julie, I learned that meaning from Richard. I'm not sure who Peggy Bauhaus is talking about.
She's a high school friend.
Of yours?
Mm-hmm.
How nice. Fog Machine, a.k.a. Lance Burke, are you saying the transition from dingleberry to Sail GP won't be a great leap?
Oh, come on.
Okay. No, the transition is to some sad news, seriously sad news. A World Sailing vice president has died in a plane crash, and this out today dear World Sailing stakeholders, it is with immense sadness that we write to inform you that Line Markert, World Sailing Vice President from Switzerland and fellow sailor, has died in an accident in her private plane in Switzerland yesterday evening on the way back from a ski trip. Her partner, Andreas Christensen, and their son were also killed. This is obviously an awful tragedy, and our thoughts are with Line and Andreas's friends and family at an unimaginably difficult time. That came out from President Kwan Hai Lee and CEO David Graham of World Sailing today.
Oh, that is awful.
And that is pretty awful. Thanks, Andrew Pindar, for that news. I just put that in, and no doubt all of us are feeling terrible about that news.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, back to happier news. Clark Chapin, DBA Karen Chapin today on a previous note. Cobb is located in Cork Harbor, Julia.
Yes.
So you're next to apparently the Royal Cork Yacht Club. Okay, that gets us moving forward to happier notes and happier things. What are we celebrating today, Julia? That is the Golden Gate Bridge in the background.
Cruising.
No. Do you know what we're celebrating?
My birthday.
Your birthday. Do you remember that photo from 1 year ago? I think tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
I'll make it bigger for you.
Yeah.
All those birthday cakes, all your friends. There's Mario Schumann's lawyer. We were all around the table at the Commodore's table in the corner of the northwest corner of the St. Francis Yacht Club. And Julia, it is indeed your birthday today. You've been telling me for a long time you were going to turn 85 today.
Right.
And in fact, you are going to turn
86.
86. We've done the math.
Yeah, I all of a sudden realized that I was fooling myself.
That's why I just use even numbers. I say I'm, give or take 70 when I'm 65 until I'm 75, and then I don't have to remember what the range is. I'm 70.
Yeah, 70-ish.
Ish. And next I'll be 80-ish.
Yeah.
Julia, you have a big decision. Decisions.
Yes.
You remember that photo taken here at the Beach Street Yacht Club in the grill room here at the Beach Street Yacht Club a year ago on March 20th.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when we first sampled
the Bourbon Queen.
The Bourbon Cream. So I ask you today, what is your pleasure?
Well,
because we have both here on the back table.
I know. I mean,
we have Bailey's original Irish cream.
I think what I'll do is start with that.
You're going to start with Bailey's?
Yeah.
And then you're going to add a little bit of...
Well, later.
Oh, later. Well, it's your birthday. You can do what you damn well want. Okay? Bailey's.
Which isn't quite my usual
this
Irish
other one,
coffee.
This other one is, you want whipped cream? I've got whipped cream here.
I've got whipped cream downstairs, too. Thank you. No.
Or do you want some of Clayton Embley's Buffalo Trace Bourbon Cream?
I do, but not with it.
You don't want to mix it. That's called Cafe Julia when they put that. That's what they're calling it now.
Oh, isn't that good?
I'm going to pour some in my coffee.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
In honor of Clayton Embley and the supply he sent us, and he is sending to others. Since I don't drink, I think I'll have a little bit in your honor on your birthday, Julia.
Oh, that's great.
Cheers.
It is really good.
You think?
He has it spoiled.
Oh, some of yours poured into mine and on the floor. You have a napkin? You got a Kleenex there behind you. That's good. I'm sorry to say I really do prefer, as we've said before on this show, I prefer the bourbon cream.
Well, the Irish is just there because it was a long time tradition.
There you go. You can't reach that. Don't move, because then I have to adjust your camera. Okay. Now, Julia, there's more.
Yes.
We're celebrating all of our patrons. As usual, we want to thank all of you who join via patreon.com/join/Sailing Illustrated and support us each month with a little contribution, because we can't keep this studio intact. We can't. I've got a new microphone, Julia. You probably didn't notice. I'm sure you're really into microphones. But with the thanks to everybody who do support us. But wait, Julia, there's more.
Yes.
After John's report. Let's get to John Emmett. and the coaching corner for today. And he is, as I said in the show notes at the top of the show, he's got some interesting observations on our show last Friday.
Okay.
Here it is.
Hi, Tom, Julia, and all the Fozy. Well, I really enjoyed the last Sailing Illustrated show. For me, I think it probably highlighted why the USA is struggling with sailing internationally in terms of results, etc. And I think that was an absolute eye-opener for me. Now, for years now, I've been saying we need to make sailing as inclusive as possible. We open the doors and we get as many bums on the seats as we possibly can. And that means making sailing accessible. So I was quite horrified to hear that you need to be part of a travel team to attend USA regattas. Now, maybe it's not mandatory, but this implication that you can't go running with the other kids without the latest set of Nike trainers is really damaging. That $100 a day is a very clear barrier to the sport, and if I look at myself, I know there's no way that I would have been able to afford to do that, and I would have gone off, and therefore I would have done another sport. Now, I'm not going to name names, but when I look at the British sailing team, I think probably a third of the sailors involved, a third of the Olympians, would fall into that background, that they'll be excluded by such a system. And it's not that it's mandatory to pay the $100 a day, but it's just putting another barrier there that makes sailing so much harder. Now, of course, you know, I guess it's nice for the coach, it gives them more work, but it's removing sailors from that talent pool. So if I look at myself, I did all my early years literally sleeping in the back of my van to save money and eating tins of baked beans and stuff. I'm not alone. I know some of our top sailors, you know, they did a lot of regattas to start with, sleeping in a tent. And this idea that sailing becomes elitist and money dependent is just a terrible idea. So I think you need to think about how you open that door. So when we look at finding the best sailors, for example, the RYA Youth National Championships, which selects the sailor who goes to the Youth Worlds, no coaching is allowed because you want a level playing field. You don't want somebody to win the Youth Nationals and therefore probably the Youth Trials purely because they were able to afford the best coach who knew the venue the best and gave them some unfair, as it were, advantage over their competitors. The other thing is we're looking to build all-round sailors who can think for themselves, and that ability at a young age to get in a car or get on a plane or whatever it is and go out and do these regattas yourself, it's really important. As soon as you have to, you know, be a member of a club and pay to play, it can be really off-putting for those sailors who are struggling financially. And one of the comments was about, you know, increasing female participation in sport, and for whatever reason I think that's more important and that's more of a barrier if you have to be part of a travel team, because for young girls, you know, trying to fit in, it can be quite hard. And I think, you know, you want to make it really opening and welcoming. We've just had our UK National Open events, which is how you qualify to do the international events, and I make a point of going and trying to talk to some of the new sailors to the fleets, if you've seen the videos that I do, because we really want to have as many people participating as possible. It's not only in terms of the national program for the US to really get those top sailors, where you need the broad funnel, the broad base. It's just good for the sport to have more people racing. So we need to remove those barriers, you know, high entry fees, high sailing club memberships, and especially this where some people will be racing with a big advantage compared to others. That's just got to go, at least at junior and youth level. When we go to the Olympic levels, there's a huge amount of documentation put in to ensure that we have a fair trials, and it's about that the best sailors are going to end up on the start line. So I think, you know, probably especially for this topic, I'm really happy to read any comments, and if you haven't done so already, please do share, because I think this is an especially important one, and it goes to every aspect of our sailing. It's not just youth sailing, it's women's sailing and it's parasailing, or perhaps we should just use the overall term inclusive sailing, because I really sincerely hope that's what we all want. In the meantime, sail fast, sail safe, and perhaps most importantly, have lots and lots of fun, because that's what keeps people in the sport.
What do you think of that?
He's right, except that he forgets that um, the UK has lots of money and government support.
Yeah, but that's only for the upper. That's only for the upper range. The clubs are not government supported, and the kids can't even take coaches to a lot of regattas. They ban the coaches. You know, you can train at your club. You can with coaching and junior coaches and so on. I think it's part of the reason that Clark J. I think it's part of the reason that Kimball Livingston wrote that article.
Oh yes, I'm sure.
And you know, this is not your mother's or father's sailing program, youth sailing program.
But
Great. Go ahead.
no, but I mean, it really starts from a quite different basis, though.
Well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure that our.
I'm not. I mean, I'm not saying that what happens here is better, because it's certainly not. But I I think it's a bit much to expect that culture change.
Well, maybe, but I think John's got a good point. Clay Embley agrees. When you don't do well at a regatta, you didn't lose. You were just learning how to win. If there is a will, there's a
Nice.
way. Yeah, that's part of the problem is that there's going to be coaching going on, and whether you know it or not, how do you enforce no coaches and so on?
Mm.
Chris Fury is saying if sailing isn't fun, then it becomes a very ordinary form of transport. All true. Well, I'm sure we're going to get
Yes.
into this some more going forward this year. And thanks, John, for your report, as
Yes,
always.
indeed.
John Emmett, sailing, get to the front of the fleet. And he's also always reminding us about how important it is to get behind the Aussies and propel them, push them, cajole them to put parasailing in as a demonstration event for Brisbane 2032. That's the only way we're going to get parasailing back into the Olympics. The sooner the better, at least get in as a demonstration event, and then maybe we can get back into the Paralympics as a regular event, get sailing back in.
Yes.
At U.S. Pony Finals, the young equestrians are not permitted to have a trainer. Clay Embley, we've mentioned before, has a daughter who's, age 22-ish, I think, who's a superb equestrian. That's an interesting comment.
Yeah.
I wonder what the max distance a Brit has to travel to attend the youth nationals compared to
America.
America. Yeah, that's a good point, Stephen.
Yeah.
There's no doubt that, but Australia, I wonder what they do in Australia. It's a country as big as ours, and of course, everybody lives on the coast for the most part. Alistair Murray agrees with John. When I was a young sailor, when I was young, sailing was popular at grassroots, and none of us had a coach.
Of course, yeah.
And of course, we didn't either.
Mm-mm.
You know, we had some big brother types who ran the junior sailing program, but we, as I said on the show the other day,
Yeah.
we were actually probably better sailors than they were. But they, you know, they helped the other kids come on. And,
Right.
And I went to one Sears, which is our national then triple-handed youth sailing championship. I went to one Sears something semifinals,
Mhm.
the regional championship in the Great Lakes, I think, with a coach. But again, he was a big brother type. Well, from our club at the lake, a guy called Alan Stevens, still around. Good guy, great sailor,
Mhm.
national champion. But he was basically our driver. He drove us to the regatta because we were too young. We didn't have a driver's license.
Yeah.
We were only 13, 14 years old.
Young.
Okay, mentors instead of coaches. See, that's what he was, Ed Worley. Yeah, this guy, Alan Stevens, I just mentioned. And David James have another tongue-in-cheek comment. He's had a couple today. Okay, well, we will no doubt discuss that some more. Julia, without further ado,
Yes.
we're going to celebrate your birthday now properly.
Uh-oh.
No, yes. Uh-oh. Why do you say uh-oh? Because there is a present here from a few of us.
Wow.
It says Susie Cakes on the outside of the bag.
Yes.
From the here in the Marina District, in the Marina, Susie Cakes, that fabulous bakery of various things.
Yes. Oh, look
Arrived just before we went to air. A little Prezi for
at that.
you.
Oh, wow. That's really good. I hate to undo it. It's so pretty.
Well, come on. You got to undo it.
Got the color right.
You got to undo it, Julia.
Yes. Oh. Cherish the ribbon.
You getting it open?
and there's a tape here.
Well, rip it off. You're a strong lady.
There we are. Oh. Yeah.
You need scissors?
Nope.
Don't close that because it'll turn the software off.
Oh.
I didn't realize this would be such a production. I should.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Oh, it's really nice.
Hmm?
It's really
I got
nice.
the overhead camera on, so you can show it to the overhead camera. Here, let me just slide it over here because I got to do something else.
Oh.
You only turned 86 once, Julia.
Oh.
Huh?
Especially since it's been such a short time since I was 85.
Well, let's show the gang. There's 4 birthday cupcakes in there.
Yeah.
Which one do you want? The chocolate one?
Yep.
Okay. Because we have a proper.
Oh.
Huh?
That's a lot of work, guys.
I know. No, we got to do this, Julia. You'd think poorly of me.
But
if we
that's
did.
one that I can't
This
blow
candle
out.
is broken.
And it won't blow out.
Yeah, it will. This is not a fake candle.
Oh, okay.
We got to go through the whole thing. It's your birthday. You only turn 86 once. Huh?
Yeah.
And there it is. The cupcake with the candle, Julia.
Great.
And now we'll cut to the overhead shot here. I think. I think we will. This is back here. Over here. Oh, Julia.
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
I don't know. I've never done a cupcake lighting here on, so I don't know.
I was going to say we should.
I'll do it right here back by my coffee where I know it'll work.
Yeah. Better in this.
Better not. I don't think this is one of these candles that you can't blow out. If it is, I didn't. It was the only one I scrounged up here at the Beach Street Yacht Club. It's working. Okay.
It wasn't.
Did it go on? No, it's still going.
Is it?
Barely. Yeah, it's still going. See if I can move it over to you, Julia.
Okay.
And still switch the show. And have it not blow out. And make a wish.
I wish the Fosey the best of luck, and thanks for adding so much to my life twice a week. How's that?
Perfect. Did it work?
Yes.
Here, pull the candle out and eat it.
Oh, I can't eat it right now.
Why not? Set it over there next to your coffee.
Okay.
Hmm? Why not? Set it over there next to your coffee.
Well.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Julia. Happy birthday to you. I didn't bring the banjo in here.
No. Thank you, guys.
Should have I brought the banjo in here?
Oh, gosh, we don't need the banjo.
You sure?
Later. Yeah. No, it's very special because the Foseys really are my family these days. So.
Well, that's true. That is a good point.
Nice to have you all here, and I love you all.
It smells like we have a fire in here now.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yep.
Our equipment's not on fire, is it?
No.
It's just that smoky candle?
It's a smoky candle.
Okay. Well, bite into it. Tell me if it's any good.
Oh.
They were not, anything you buy in San Francisco, it's not cheap. So it better be good. That's from Susie Cakes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. No, I'm not going to play the tuba, Alan Long. I don't have a tuba. If I had a tuba, I'd play it.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, guys.
Julia, thank you for all you do. You got 3 more.
Oh, no.
Okay, while you're having your coffee
Yeah.
and your birthday cupcake, we'll carry on here. We've got the SailGP feature today. There is the key moment of the race on Sunday when the Canadians passed the Kiwis going uphill, the second time?
Mm-hmm.
And just before, and they had starboard right of way, and the Kiwis had to duck, and they held that lead, the Canadians, into the finish, sailed a brilliant race. And of course, the Canadians were our skipper now, their new skipper, Giles Scott, who was excused from participation by Sir Ben Ainslie in the America's Cup, as many of you will remember.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the key moment on Sunday. And that led to a leaderboard when the regatta was all over. Canada first, New Zealand second, and Australia third. They were the final 3. Australia had a terrible start in that last race, that winner-take-all race, and were never really in the hunt. A little bit. They pressed a little bit. In fact, they pressed New Zealand for second at one point. But those of you watching will remember that Emirates GBR almost got into that final race ahead of Australia in the preceding race, but it was not to be. They ended up 4th, Spain 5th, France 6th, the Germans 7th, Red Bull Italy, and the U.S. in 9th, Switzerland 10th, Mubadala Brazil 11th, and the Danes, who hit a buoy with their T-foil, with their port side T-foil.
I missed. I was watching it, but I forgot what happened.
Oh my goodness! They hit it hard. I mean, the guys in the boat got shook. They hit it so hard with the T-foil, and those are titanium T-foils, and that took them out of the rest of the regatta. That was on the first race of the first day, was it? It was the first day anyway. So that's why that team, Rockwool Denmark, ended up. You only get points if you finish in the top 10. That's the scoring system for this year. So here is day 1, a minute and a half or so video reviewing day 1 of SailGP LA.
Day 1 of the Rolex Los Angeles Sail Grand Prix in the Port of Los Angeles. It was epic close racing in glamour conditions.
That was so tight. They didn't see him till too late. Oh, it looks like pure drama out there, doesn't it? Oh, that's a disaster. Spain full off the foil. We're looking for that line to turn white. How's your timing, Pete Burling?
New Zealand were the fastest to find their form from perfectly executed starts.
There's 5 wide around Mark 1. Bit of a masterclass from the black foils.
New Zealand claimed their 2nd win in a row in Los Angeles. Canada maintained their pace from Sydney with a 3rd and a 2nd in the opening 2 races.
Nice one for Giles Scott.
Brazil looks set to take their first ever race win until the Australians reeled them in at the end. Does she leave an opening for Slingsby? Yes, she does. It's Tom Slingsby ruins the day for the Brazilians.
I'm so sorry.
France finished day 1 on a high. They bring it home for the win in Los Angeles. But it was the Kiwis who finished close behind to go on top of the overall standings after 4 races.
Well, that was a busy day on the water.
4 races complete on day number 1 here in Los Angeles. It is New Zealand on top, 31 points. Canada sits in 2nd, and Australia now in 3rd, with France just on the outside looking in.
Julia, you're on camera eating your. There's somewhere is a SailGP. There it finally comes through. Please stop saying, how's your timing? Mark Holland, when they introduced the new wider foils, they claimed the tips would just shear off, so there was no need for a change in clearance allowance. We're number 9. We're number 9. You know what that reference is, too?
We are number 9.
That's the Beatles.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What was that album, Alan Long? Number 9. Number 9. SailGP coverage is actually getting better, but the commentators are still a little croutonic, Ed Worley. A little? And the drumming is irritating. That Stevie has got to go, Rick Bannero is saying. Okay, well, there's day 1. Let's look at the day 2, shall we? Day 2 recap.
12 world-class teams lined up for the Rolex Los Angeles Sail Grand Prix in the Port of LA.
Oh, it looks like pure drama out there, doesn't it? Spain full off the foils. There's 5 wide around Mark 1.
12 teams dropped to 11 as Rockwell, Denmark collided with a mark early in the first race of the day.
Oh, that's a disaster. That is a absolute shocker.
It was a tight race course. Tom Slingsby ruins the day for the Brazilians. And even the best teams had near misses.
It was so tight.
With 2 wins from 4 on day 1, New Zealand cemented their overnight lead. New Zealand claimed their second win in a row in Los Angeles. But with the scoreboard tight all the way to 7th place, Super Sunday was all on. Emirates GBR started their charge to make the final in the opening race. Emirates GBR claims race number 5, but it was by the final fleet race where the Brits repeated their form only to have their fate decided by Australia to see who would join New Zealand and Canada in the event final. Never has a battle for 7th place been more exciting than this.
I think he's done it, Todd.
Oh my goodness. It looks like Australia has done just enough.
Nice work.
With the Canadians going into the 3-way shootout in the top spot after a consistent series all weekend, they picked their moment to overtake New Zealand.
Canada are making no mistakes.
And as they approach the line, it has been 727 days in the making. The Emirates winning moment goes the way of North Star Canada.
Amazing effort from the team today. I'm so proud of everyone.
In the end, it is Canada that picks up the 10 points.
Yeah, that seemed to mean an awful lot to Giles Scott. Burning in New Zealand, well, they're never going to be happy with second, but yeah, that was a spectacular final, really.
People have the White Album still. I wonder if it's in vinyl. We're talking about
I
that.
do.
You do?
Uh-huh. Yes, it's in vinyl. It's been
Do you have a
played.
record player?
Yes.
You do?
It's been played once.
Yeah.
And I have all the paper that goes with it, too.
So did you watch SailGP both days?
Yes.
Did you enjoy that?
Yes, but I wasn't glued to the TV every second.
Oh, well. Okay, now let's have a look at what Giles Scott had to say on the way in. They grab him off the boat right away, as you all know, and they go into shore to the prize giving. They don't waste a second. And here was the quick interview that he did with Lisa on the way in.
3's a 5, but the big one, the 1. Well done as we send it over to Lisa Darmanin.
Giles, congratulations, second in Sydney. You came back fighting here, won going to the final and took that final off the Kiwis. Well done.
Yeah, thank you. No, amazing effort from the team today. I mean, all weekend and all season, really. It's just amazing. You know, we've had a good one in Sydney, and now to come here and to win is awesome for the team. I'm so proud of everyone.
Awesome. Well, everyone's jumping up to join the celebration, so we'll let you go.
Thank you.
That's the team's first win since 2000. They only won one other SailGP, I think, from memory, in 2023, 2 years ago.
It was a while, but I don't remember.
And this is the first time they've won one this season. Giles Scott, of course, coming over to helm the team in at the start of the season, a change of ownership and so on. And as a couple of you have pointed out, brilliant sailing, but Stingray's saying, yeah, Giles has Paul Campbell James on board. So bravo Zulu. Without them, the Brits steering the Canadian team. And of course, they had a Kiwi. Phil Robertson was on driving the team before. So much for nationality rules in Sail GP, which, the whole thing has at times, I'm sorry to say it, but it just has a bit of a feel of an infomercial, especially with Stevie, what's his name, doing that commentary. God, he shouts and screams and as again, as a couple of you have said, it's out of what was the actual comment from, I think it was Rick Banner, the color commentary is never in sync with the broadcast shot. So the problem is that they're also trading back and forth who is calling play-by-play. You never hear that on a professional sports broadcast. One person is calling the play-by-play, or even one person's a studio type host, then they throw it to play-by-play, and then alongside play-by-play is the color commentator. And these guys are talking over each other. They're not too bad at that, but they're both doing play-by-play. And it just, to say nothing of shouting and screaming. And this is not a horse race. This is a yacht race. That's I assert is more like a tennis match or a golf match, but who knows? It's not, it's even Formula One doesn't get this excited. And the other problem is whoever the director is, I'm sorry to say it, but the director can't seem to, he goes, or she, I don't know if it's a he or she, goes off to a close-up shot, which is what we would call a beauty shot, instead of an overhead shot or even a drone shot or something, a long shot from the camera boat, so you can see the position of that yacht vis-a-vis the other yachts. Tell the story of when they're coming into the mark, they're coming into the gate, what the relationship is to the other boats as they're coming in. Switch very briefly to a beauty shot, to a close-up shot, to an onboard shot to see all the action, and then get back to a longer shot, an overhead shot, so we can see what the hell is going on.
Yep.
So I just hope they can do it, because it's really the only thing in the sport that, and it's brilliant what Larry is doing, and Russell. I think for the sport, a lot of people are getting paid that wouldn't otherwise be being paid. I think Russell's starting to gather some money, big picture, long term.
Which is good.
Which is good, and one can only hope it continues. Now let's listen to a video, and they're releasing, this is good stuff. A day or two after the event, we got plenty of follow-up video. We got plenty of comments. Their website is okay. It wasn't probably as good as what MTM at Magnus the Magnificent did for the America's Cup, with all the verbiage, all the words he wrote. But now let's look to see what the skippers had to say. I'm not going to play all of them, all 10 or 11 or 12 of them, but I'm going to play the top 4, and then we'll go to the American team and check in with Taylor Canfield. But first.
Oh, it's massive. I think, we sailed really well all weekend. Got off the water yesterday, second overall, and we still felt really frustrated. We put it together today. It felt so frantic on board with 4 up sailing. It's not, I kind of said it to you in an interview, it's not, I don't really feel like it's my forte, but we got through it, and got some nice splits in that final race, and it's massive for the team. We've got some new partners here, so it's really quite special to be able to put on a show for them. Greg's here as well, our owner. So this event was a perfect showcase for our team.
And that final, obviously, at the start line, a little tougher with the Kiwis, but you just put the pressure on them the whole way around the racetrack, and you guys sailed so well.
Yeah, they got the jump on us at the start. We got a jump on them on the jibe, and then we just had an option for a split at the bottom with the right turn, and I think from there, the way that the course was laid out, it was kind of in our favour, and they were going to struggle at the top, and we got past, we held on.
And
job done.
Next week, San Fran will be completely different to LA, likely. Are you excited just to mix it up and see what you guys can do?
Yeah. I mean, we'll see what San Fran brings. It's pretty early in the season for San Fran, so it could be anything up there. But there's no rest. Straight back into it.
It's great to lead a Mark 1 really comfortably. Felt like we made a few incorrect decisions around the racetrack. Definitely a few things I look back and kick myself on technically, and then we had that one big vent which kind of put them a long way in front. Real shame to let someone pass in a final when you lead at Mark 1. You should win those ones, but we'll learn a lot from it, and looking forward to not too much time to get back out there on the racetrack in San Francisco.
It must feel good to be back in a final either way.
Yeah, really happy to be back at a final. Was a really tricky weekend, I think, all round, but really pleased with the way the team's just progressing and building, getting better and better every event, and looking forward to continuing that momentum.
And 4 up's a challenge for everyone. How do you guys feel you go in that config?
We feel really comfy in that config. I wouldn't say we're overly comfy at the bottom end of the HSBs yet. I feel like we've got a little bit to learn there still, but all in all, really pleased with the way the team just kept pushing today and really kind of upping the level.
Yeah, I forgot how to start today. Absolutely. Starts are a real problem for me today, just finding the gaps and getting to the line, and it was tough out there. And that final race was very frustrating. Just to be out of the game from the get-go it's a pity.
And I mean, it was a battle just to get into that final. That last leg was pretty intense. But everyone, give me some motivating words to do with that.
Yeah, I made it as hard as you possibly could today. It felt like we had a comfortable position going into the last race. I said, if you finish top 7, no worries, you're comfortably in. And then I looked halfway through the race, and I think we're in 7th or 8th, and GBR were winning, which is the one boat that we couldn't let win, and all of a sudden it got really tight there, and we had to overtake USA on the way to the finish, and fortunately just got there.
Obviously, you want to win every event, but how important is it to like think big picture, like making finals through like you have the last three?
Yeah, I mean, you got to. It's frustrating at the time. We want to win this one, and thought we could have, but today wasn't our day. But yeah. I think I've heard it's good for the season points about 15 times since we finished. Everyone trying to sort of pick me up after being a bit hard on myself, but it is good for the season points. But yeah, we're here to win as well.
Obviously, San Fran is up next, and you've had a pretty good track record there. It's just unfinished business the last year.
Yeah, absolutely. We always sail well in San Fran. That's probably our best event if you look at our record there. So yeah, we're ready to go. We'll reset, and I'll get over this, and we'll come back stronger.
Yeah, certainly had two good races, but I think we disappointed in the middle race. We got caught out with the delay to the start time, and then didn't adapt well enough. So I think we'll certainly need to look at that. But really proud of the team today, come out swinging and bring on San Fran.
And for us, probably haven't done too much of that as a driver here. So
yeah, it's plenty on for me. Certainly. Parker did a good job of keeping me in check, and it's amazing how hard Hannah has to work. So yeah, really proud of the team today, and yeah, just looking forward to getting into debrief, getting some team building done, and then onto some big courses and big breeze.
Now that last sort of, you guys won that last race, the Aussies overtook at the last moment. What was it like on board when you were just like willing your way in?
There was certainly a bit of a roller coaster. We thought the Americans had done it and they were going to take them, but they stuffed their last tap, they said, and hats off to the Aussies. They did a great job of getting around them, and that's sport at the end of the day.
Okay, that's a little unceremonious there, cut at the end, because they go on from Dylan, they go on to other skippers, but I want to just now not prolong the agony and go listen, I should say, to Taylor Canfield. But yeah, before we get to Taylor, I think Gordon Smith's thought, I don't know if it's still on the comments, but yeah, up there at the very top of the chat, I shared a thought with Tom earlier. This was over the weekend. We were watching the races and chatting at the same time. Why don't SailGP have different shaped courses and obstacles for each venue? You know, it's not a half bad idea. Those legs are so short. Mm-hmm. Especially in the light air. It was like 600 meters or 500 meters, really short. And the races are over. I think they're doing too many races. I think they should do 3 and 2, like they used to do, 3 races Saturday, 2 Sunday, or even 2 and 1, 2 races on Saturday and, 2 and 2, 2 races Saturday, 2 races Sunday, and have longer races because there are lead changes. Teams are sailing through the other boats. If you get a bad start, you can, if you've got a good team and good teamwork and you're handling good boat handling and good speed, you can catch up with the others and get back in the hunt. And with these short races, it's really over at the first mark, almost.
Yes.
So
well, it has been.
Push your mic up just a bit there. You were.
It has been anyway in many of the races, no matter where it is.
Well, exactly. So, yeah, I agree with you. And the other thing I was saying with Gordon is how cool it is watching the Sail Media team doing the JJ, and how cool it is that course not only are long, they're doing 1 race a day, and they're out there for an hour and a half, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And, okay, I know where Shark Island is in Sydney Harbor, but I don't know where it is relative to all these other little bays and where the marks are. And the guys are explaining it, but the television director is taking overheads, and you can see where they're going. Mm-hmm. You can see where the boats are in relation to the others, and there's always a background.
Yes.
There's always a background, which was the beauty of sailing the America's Cup here in San Francisco Bay, why you and I say it's iconically beautiful and reliably windy.
Which, of course, it is.
Well, we'll see next weekend whether or not it is.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be pretty light Sunday, it looks like. But background is really cool. It's good. It's why the Bay of Naples is good. You're in the bay and you've got background for much of the race. You got Mount Etna there and so on. Well, okay, now let's go listen to Taylor Canfield, who, what can you say? The guy is he and his team, Mike Buckley, the CEO, who's on the boat. And I think the first fix is to get Mike Buckley off the boat, let him focus on managing the team but they seem to be way more, I'm sorry to say this, Taylor, Mike, and all, but they seem to be way more interested in their PR and strutting around in their Tommy Hilfiger clothing and posting pictures of themselves in their Tommy Hilfiger clothing on Instagram, on IG. But here was Taylor's surprisingly upbeat reaction after the race on Sunday.
Yeah, you know, I think well, overall, like, what an amazing event. You know, to be here at a home event, and, you know, just everyone being so pumped to, you know, get some photos and stuff and introducing new people to our sport. Like, that's what it's all about. Yeah, but yeah, a little bit disappointing day for us today. You know, I put my hand up. I did a pretty poor job in our starting and our approach, and kind of put us on our back foot, and we battled back into some races at times. But yeah, it's again, building, and yeah, you know, I think we definitely felt stronger in those conditions. But you know, again, we didn't position ourselves well today for a good day. So overall, yeah, we're going to push forward, and looking forward to San Fran, and, you know, we're feeling better in the breeze now. So yeah, we're looking forward to that.
That whole foiling, not foiling thing, so difficult. Obviously, the later races, it was a bit easier. But how much as a driver are you sort of making those decisions, looking for pressure, or just trying to stand on the gas?
Yeah, I mean, you know, 2 people getting off the boat is a massive hit to the team. You know, everyone just gets so loaded up on board. We have a lot more responsibilities, you know, with boat handling and performing, making the boat go through the water, but then also having to get our head out of the boat. So definitely loads us all up more. And yeah, I think you know, looking back on it with the wind strength when we went out there this morning, we probably should have, you know, pushed the train a little bit more with 4 up and kind of hedged our bet there. But yeah, you know, we got more time on the water, which is important for our team, and yeah, we're getting better. So I'm looking forward to what's to come. So
yeah, next week we're still home event up the road in the SF. Why should people tune in, come down, cheer you on?
yeah, absolutely, I'm pumped. So yeah, I think that'll even be a bigger turnout than here. So yeah, we're excited, and yeah, then off to Brazil, and then of course New York, which will be awesome.
Awesome to be in New York, Julia. Yeah.
I think it's awesome to be in Brazil.
Back on the television coverage, it would be, I agree. Yeah, the contrast between the JJ and Sail GP was pretty dramatic. John Emmett agreeing Naples, the Bay of Naples, would be good for the AC. Where the Olympics were held in 1960, when the Olympics were in Rome and the sailing was in the Bay of Naples.
Ah, I didn't.
Upbeat on that performance, maybe the edibles were kicking in. Clark Chapin is asking. Pity we can't hear the questions. Yeah, I don't know why Lisa doesn't have a mic and she's going here and then going to the back and forth, you know, the way any of us normal people would do. Yeah, San Fran is not correct. Would be better not to have used San Fran. He knows better. Or Frisco, Julia.
Oh.
Frisco.
Oh.
And I do, again, I think they'd be much better off in an hour and a half. So what if the boats displace? It's not the end of the world. When you go to the onboard cameras, they look like they're going pretty quick, because they are actually going pretty quick. And so you have 2 races Saturday, 2 races Sunday, if you really want to go to the best 3, and then the 3 boats matriculate from the first 3 races.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least 3 and 2, 3 on Saturday and 2 on Sunday if you must, or 3 and 3 even. 3, but 4 and 4, it's just too much, in my opinion. Those
they're
races
not
are
long. But this is there enough space?
Well, there's enough space, but the races are just too short, and they can make that. Yeah, it's part of the appeal, is to keep them close in front of the crowd. I don't know, and the idea of taking, you know, what professional sports, except as Gordon Smith or somebody I was chatting with over the weekend says, well, ice hockey, you take a player off and put them in the penalty box. Okay, that's a penalty. But, you know, the teams, okay, forget about this crazy NHL overtime thing where they go to 3 players, 3 skaters and 1 goalie. But they normally, a hockey team has 5 skaters and a goalie. A soccer team has what, 9, 10? I can't remember how many players are on a football soccer team.
11.
Whatever the number is. And the baseball team has 9. And you don't vary the numbers depending upon the weather conditions. I mean, excuse me. I don't get it. It just feels like too much like an infomercial, too much like we're here to promote sponsors and not here to have a yacht race, a serious sailboat race. Speaking of the team USA, their post to Instagram was just not our day. Well, I don't know that it was not your day. It was you didn't sail worth a darn again.
Well, they sort of said that.
Well, but why aren't they more honest than this? Here's the reaction. I'm really sad to see how strong the reaction is in the comments to their Instagram post. Also, the play-by-play announcers, girlish screaming is distracting. Okay, that's the play-by-play. But Steve Wolonsky, whoever he is, Mark Suzuko said made that first comment. And then Steve Wolonsky says, the people that are saying poor performance just showed they know nothing about racing. When you're going up against the best of the best in the world, you need to cut them some slack. So he's saying we're being too tough on the American team. Yeah, okay. I don't buy it. I mean, you're supposed to be competitive, at least. At least the American team should be. I've been watching Sail GP from the beginning, Pappy Rick says. I don't know who these people are. I always cheer for the USA sailing team, hoping they would get better. They're a solid 5th, 6th, or 7th place team, or 8th or 9th. Need to clean house and start over. I will still cheer for Team USA and hope for improvement.
Yeah, that's hard, but true, probably.
And then the memes are, and I'm only going to run one, but there's a meme that's been running that has, I don't know how many people sent it to me. I know who made the meme, and I'm not going to say who. It's a Fozy. But here is the meme. And it's called Point of View, the USA Sail GP team with Mike Buckley and Taylor Canfield, and they're talking with Russell.
Our story is the story of two guys who start at the bottom, and with a lot of hard work, continue along the bottom, and finally end up at the bottom.
Oh, yeah, that's an intriguing scenario.
Yeah, it's a rags to rags story.
Yeah, imagine it. Yeah, did you see the one about the guys who started at the bottom, stayed at the bottom, and at the end they were still at the bottom?
Yes, that's our life.
So inspirational. Who'd go and see that?
I think I'd see that.
I would go and see that, yeah.
It's more realistic.
It's sad, but it's funny. Several of you sent that to me. Thank you, because it is sad. There is a rumor, Julia.
Yes.
There is a rumor, and I still haven't gotten to the bottom of it. And this is only a rumor. I'm not saying this is a one here. This is a rumor that the New York Yacht Club and or American Magic are simply going to buy the team and put them out of their...
Somebody put that in online.
Well, I'm sure it's been online, but I've been hearing snippets of this now for weeks. And in fact, I think they should. I think if American Magic is going to continue in the America's Cup, and we'll see if that happens, if they do, I think they should buy this team the way Sir Ben has bought the team. And I think that's going to be great for Sir Ben. And I think if the Americans if American Magic's staying in the Cup, they ought to buy a team, this team, or maybe the Australian team. They have got Tom Slingsby if he's coming back to drive for American Magic. But they just don't seem to be coming together, as Ed Worley says, and I think somebody ought to buy the team, American Magic. Not New York Yacht Club's not going to buy the team, I don't think, and I don't think that's within their purview. But we shall see, and hopefully they'll do better next weekend. I am cheering for them. I think the world of Taylor. I'm not so high on Mike Buckley, having had some business dealing, not business dealings, but some dealings. Disappointments in the past, and what they did to Long Beach Yacht Club by stringing Long Beach Yacht Club on during that cup, two cups ago. I just think they ought to clean house, probably put H6, Harry Melgus the fourth, is it? H4, sorry, not H6, H4 on the wheel and get on with it. And I think they'd be much better off. Stingray says the Uber guy, he's one of the founders of Uber who owns Team USA, has no reason to sell, and he likes the current guys. He is not going to continue to like the current guys, Stingray, if they keep losing. And of course, Mike Buckley owns a chunk of the team as well. Okay, so here's a nice photo, Julia.
Yes.
For this, it's from last year's event, obviously. For upcoming this weekend, going into this weekend, Emirates GBR are leading just by 2 points over Australia. So that is going to be interesting to see here. And New Zealand is in the hunt as well. And then your favorite team, Julia, the Spanish, are down on 26 points, Canada on 25, France on 20, Switzerland, Red Bull, Italy, Rock Wool, Denmark. The USA has only 2 points, Julia.
Yes.
2 points.
Mm.
And then the poor German team are on -2 because of some penalties that they have suffered in previous events. So that's what's happening going into this weekend's event, the season leaderboard. And the regatta number 5 is here in San Francisco on Saturday, Sunday. We will preview. We'll have more. We'll have some insight from the press conference and so on, which is Friday, practice racing on Friday. When we go live at 1300 here on Friday, we should have a pretty good feel for what's going on, including a better feel for the weather, which looks good on Saturday. 9 knots increasing to 12, gusts up maybe to 19, which is a better forecast than we saw last Friday. So it's looking better now. Chilly, 60 degrees, give or take, Fahrenheit. Partly cloudy, and the low tide just an hour before the racing starts. So the tide will be flowing by the time the racing gets going, but not very strong. And it's a very small tide at that, 1/10 of a meter on both days. Sunday, the weather is looking lighter, 6 knots increasing to 10, hopefully in the afternoon, 1 to 5 p.m. A touch warmer, sunny, a little bit nicer day, and low tide at race time at 2:12, a few minutes after the races start, but also only 0.1 meter tide as opposed to, sometimes you can have quite a bit more here in the Bay, as you all know. Racing starts towards the end of the SI cast. Yes, it does indeed, Fog Machine. But it doesn't start our SI cast on Friday. The racing Saturday, Sunday, not Friday. So we will be off the air. And I several of you have pinged me and said, why don't you do a watch party? I actually did, as some of you know, I did do a private watch party to Zoom on Sunday because in the UK, I heard from MTM, among others, Magnus the Magnificent, that the YouTube feed went down in the UK. They couldn't see it.
Mm.
So I I was watching it here in the studio and pushed a few buttons and got it on Zoom for them.
Yeah.
So that Magnus and others in the UK could watch it. But we'll. I think, Julie, we're going to go over there, right?
Yep.
Both days. You want to go both days, don't you?
Well, it's up to you. Yes.
No, it's not up to me. It's up to you. You can go over there without me too.
We can watch it on the first day from here
and go over Sunday for the big
finale.
Sunday. Grand finale. Okay. Yeah. Well, we'll sort that out. We will sort that out. That forecast, by the way, is from Predict Wind as of a couple hours before we went live today. And the San Francisco Day 1 will be on YouTube live at 2:30, at 14:30 p.m., which, of course, 14:30 Pacific is 17:30 for you on the East Coast. It's 21:30 in London. I don't know when the times they are changing, but that's UTC. And it's -4 to you in Auckland and -6, I think, now to you in Sydney the next day. I can't keep track of that. You'll have to keep track of your damn time zones yourself until we get cemented here into summertime here in the Northern Hemisphere and off daylight time for those of you who go off daylight time down in Australia and New Zealand, at least. You are only 2 blocks away. Of course you have to go, Stingray says. Well, we did last year. We went both days, didn't we? Or did we only go one day?
I don't remember. How's that?
I like watching it here on the tube because in fairness to me, I go over there
and you get
and they want me to commentate. They want me to go out and eat. I really just want to sit and enjoy and watch it.
Yeah.
But if we go up in the dining room, we can't see the television very well.
No.
And the television, what is really frustrating at St. Francis is that the TV, and I suppose this is everywhere, by the time it gets onto YouTube and then they put it on the big screen television sets, it's running. Jody and I had a long talk about this the other day.
Yeah.
It's running 20 seconds behind real time. So you're watching it on TV, you got to watch it out the window, but the commentary doesn't match up with
Yeah.
That's why the Yacht Club commentary, which I did 3 years ago,
was better
on the race deck. It's live. I'm sitting there not watching the TV. I'm watching the racing in front of us and giving a lot of insight
better.
to people, and it
Yeah.
was good. But I don't want to do that. That's my weekend off.
No.
I would just want to relax. Okay, Julia, what happened on this day in history? We could have done your birthday, and I thought about it. But actually, a woman right up your alley.
Yes.
We're going to celebrate this day in history in 1507.
Ooh, good.
I'm sure you know right off the top.
Absolutely, I was there.
Here's your first clue. King of the Romans and the Holy Roman Emperor, Emperor Maximilian the First, and another Holy Roman Emperor, Charles V. This is your first clue for this event that happened in 1509.
Oh.
Now, there's your second clue, and the real clue.
Queen who?
It's
Margaret.
actually Princess Margaret of Austria, who became the major domo of the Netherlands. She was a very smart and entrepreneurial lady.
Mm-hmm.
She became, on this date in 1507, did I say 09? 1507, she became the first female Dutch governor because Maximilian named her his daughter, Margaret of Austria, the first woman governor of the Netherlands, and regent to her brother Charles V, who was supposed to be minding the shop. But there were lots of complications. She became, like you, Julia, the first chair of the House Committee at St. Francis, one of the first female members of St. Francis, the first partner in your headhunting firm, and the first Commodore of the Beach Street Yacht Club. Right?
Oh, that's one of many, or 5 of many.
She was the first female Dutch governor. Now, here is what is her connection, albeit tangential, distant, to sailing. To achieve the alliance with Queen Isabella of Castile, meaning of Spain, and King Ferdinand of Aragon, those two got together to bring that part of the world under one throne. Maximilian started negotiating the marriage of their only son and heir, John, Prince of Asturias, to Margaret, as well as the marriage of their daughter Juana to Philip. Forget about them. Margaret left the Netherlands for Spain in late 1496. Now remember, Columbus sailed in 1492.
Mm-hmm.
And the interesting thing is that while she was in the Netherlands, being the good, smart business lady that she was making a lot of money, and she was sending it to the crown in Spain.
Uh-huh.
And the Spanish crowns were sending it to Columbus. So she apparently, I read extensively last night, she had a lot to do, albeit, again, tangentially, but she helped fund Cristobal Colon, the Italian who sailed for Spain and ostensibly discovered the New World. So, yeah, sailing was still a pretty iffy proposition those days. But in getting up, she finally, after this engagement was happening, she got on a ship, but the ship hit a storm. She was headed to Spain from the Netherlands, hit a storm in the Bay of Biscay, no surprise, and in haste, she wrote her own epitaph, should she not reach Spain. Here lies Margaret, the willing bride, twice married, but a virgin when she died.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you think that's apocalyptic, or do you think that's true? Is that, Julia, correct or crutonic?
That's probably correct.
Apparently it is correct. So there is a sailing connection to this lady who was apparently a very smart, cool gal.
Isabella.
On this day in history, she became basically the ruler of the Low Countries, of the Netherlands and beyond.
Mm.
Sailing was still a pretty iffy proposition, yes. Replying to Gordon Smith, you should make Luxembourg pay for it.
Mm.
Okay. Julia, we've got a Bravo Zulu coming up here. We got to do a Bravo Zulu because these guys on Yandu sailed brilliantly.
Oh, they did.
I think they won, what, 5 of the 9 races, 6 of the 9 races, I can't remember. But Bravo Zulu to them, to the Yandu team of Tom Needham, Fang Warren, and Louis Brake, who became the world 18-footer champions after scoring a brilliant victory in the Winnings 2025 JJ that we've been covering, the Giltonen 18-foot skiff championship, which concluded on Sydney Harbor on Sunday. Remember, they won the first 4 races in a row, so the handwriting was on the wall. Yandu completed the 9-race regatta with a record, it was 6 wins, record of 6 wins. I don't think it was a record, but with a record of 6 wins, 1 6th placing, and a 9th for a total of 21 points, which was 5. They threw out something else, which was 5 points ahead of the second place Finport Finance, which was a bit of a surprise. Keegan York's team, Matt Stenta and Angus Williams. They were second. Yeah. The boat speed and crew work on the winner was exceptional, as we've been saying, throughout the regatta, and their tactics could not be faulted as the boat was in or very near the front of the fleet from the start of every race.
Yeah.
So Bravo Zulu to them. It was a superb performance, and they went into Sunday's race with a 9-point lead, 9 points over Finport Finance. And if Finport Finance had won Sunday's race, Yandu only had to complete the course and stay in the top 9 places, obviously, to successfully defend the title they won last year, 2024. Now, our Fozzian favorites, I'm not ashamed to say or embarrassed to say they are our favorites because I know Harry Price well, but westerly winds on the harbor can be very tricky, as we saw if you watched the racing live on Sunday. And Yandu's hopes weren't all that much better after the first lap of the course, as the team still trailed in 14th place, while Finport Finance was still second behind Rag and Famish, the crew of Harry Price, our not super Fozzie, but he's certainly a Fozzie, Max Paul and Finn Rodowitz. And they won that final race. Not quite going away. They were ahead of Finport Finance, but it was fabulous sailing, nice conditions,
fun to watch.
Good point, Julia. Fun to watch. And that's those last 2 slides were from Sue Ellen Hurling of Live, Sail, Die, and her pros as well. There they are, those 2 boats going into the finish. And Rag and Famish Hotel's crew were superb in those very tricky conditions, always changing and crossing, always tricky and always changing conditions, and cross the finish line 24 seconds ahead over Finport Finance, which is Balmain was behind them, Larkings, Grimes. So Tom Grimes we know well as well, having sailed in Gulf Cup, and Flynn Toomey a further 34 seconds back. So after all that around the course and back and forth and up and down and puffs and shifts, there's still only 20 some odd seconds, 30 seconds apart the top 3 boats, and that's how superb the crew work is. And it's compelling watching, compelling television to see it. And of course, it's something all of us relate to because we all sail boats like this. Okay, maybe not with racks and maybe not with triple trapeze, but we get it. We all get it. We understand it. So that's Frank Quealy's pros, sail-world.com. We got a picture of him on the show. That great face of his.
Oh, yes. I forgot.
Remember that?
Yeah.
On Friday's show. There's Yandu coming in at the end. And there are a lot of spectators out there. There is apparently some gambling that goes on, although I'm not sure it's legal. They talk about it. We asked.
Yeah, nobody really answers that.
Yeah, they were a little circumspect when we were talking with Dolly DeVola about it when he was on the show a week or so ago. There's the final 5. Yandu with Tom, Fang, and Lewis. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bullets. Finport didn't win any races. Rag and Famish actually won 2, and the only other race winner was Smeg, a very young team of Nathan McNamara, Jed Cruikshank, and Jack Taylor. And they won, as you can see there, race 5. And they ended up after a throwout, they threw out their 13th. They ended up on 50 points in 5th place. So cool stuff. And especially cool was the broadcast team. This is the superb sail media team, they're called. And the gentleman standing in the middle back is the guy who's put that together. He's the guy they call Jimmy. James Bury, B-U-R-Y. And I talked with Jody about this group the other day. And here's some more about them. Sail Media is a Sydney-based production company put together by this guy, James Burry, specializing in marine media coverage. They don't just do this, they also do some other events. Sail Media, along with this boat they're on, is a purpose-built camera cat, and it has highly experienced, world-renowned videographers, photographers, commentators, editors, and journalists, and drone pilots, I should add, who all specialize in the marine industry. They have the unique ability to produce live and post-production, so not only the live show, but then they can do the videos afterwards. And to any level that clients wish, get in touch today to see how Sail Media can make your dreams come true. And they are not sponsoring this show, but I thought they deserved an ad on here. The three guys in the middle were the commentators. James is the middle, that's Jimmy. And then on the right, of course, is Dolly DeVola. Our Super Fozy on the left is Peter Shipway. Shippo, as he's well known, does the commentary for any number of events, including and especially the Sydney to Hobart race. Thanks to Dolly.
Mm-hmm.
You can see Dolly there on the right.
But that was,
in the back.
it was such fun having him on the program.
He was. He was a superb guest. And of course, he was on a beach up near,
yes,
up north on the shore. I can't remember now exactly where,
yes,
but we've had people on trains. We had people in the southern,
right,
southern Indian Ocean.
Yes.
We had Cole Brower on, and we had him from, he was on, he wasn't on Walkabout. He was up there with his,
well, he wasn't.
He was with his swag on the beach.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Andrew, Dolly DeVola, for that.
And if you missed seeing it, go check it in on it a little bit. He's very entertaining and informative.
No, exactly. Okay, well, welcome everybody. If you're just joining us, show number 817. We're an hour and a half into what I thought would be a little bit shorter show than usual. Not 2.5 hours. Probably going to bring this one in under 2 hours, but we do have a FOSI Focus. Cool people, Friends of Sailing Illustrated. That's what FOSI stands for. And Steve Adkins, our friend, past Commodore of the Madison Beach Club on the South Shore, well, the North Shore of Long Island, the south coast of the only coast of Connecticut, the Nutmeg State, as we talked about at the top of the show. Somebody donated an Etchells to their fleet in Madison, Connecticut, and they apparently the trailer wasn't very good because they had to go pick it up on a bigger, newer trailer instead of risk trying to trailer it on that old broken down one.
Mm-hmm.
So they took the boat, Julia, get this. And then, by the way, there's Steve and Rita in the lower right corner of the Madison Beach Club in Connecticut. He was a Commodore, 10 plus or so years ago. Remember, he too was our guest who was the first person we knew who had COVID.
That's right. And we were in close contact.
And he came on the show when he was in his hospital bed. He wouldn't tell us which hospital. But he was not on a ventilator. He set me straight the other day. So they went and grabbed this boat a couple weeks ago, and it was in such bad shape. The first thing they did, which I thought was pretty darn smart, they took it to the car wash and they power washed it.
Oh yeah,
as you would, I guess. Cleaned it up, and they're going to fix the boat up, and they're going to have another boat in their fleet. How smart is that? What a good way to promote your fleet and to help build your fleet. Go get boats that are not in great shape and fix them up and then give them to some kids or sell them to somebody local. But they've started sailing in the cold and windy conditions of our northern hemisphere, northeastern spring, New England spring. They had a windy, rough, cold day, and here's what it looked like.
Yes. I can feel the cold breeze.
So just a brief video. He says they fortify themselves before and during the race. They hit this sapling maple rye. It's rye whiskey. And Steve says they hit this before most every race in the flask. Today, the first race of the season was no exception. Big wind, 2 huge downwind flights with the big chute. Won the day with a 2-1, 3-1, 3. There were 8 boats out for this first race.
Wow.
The ratchets on the kite blew out on both sides, so I was trimming the chute by strength alone as it was slipping through the cam cleat jaws. Fortunately, I still got it as I wrapped the sheet. I don't recommend this.
No.
I don't recommend this, Steve. I wrapped the sheet around my leg and thigh and told our skipper to fudge it just stay under the chute, sail the boat under the chute so I don't have to trim it much. And we did it, and it was just epic. Terrific. Day one. That's Steve Atkins, our Fozy from Connecticut. As the northern sailing season gets underway, Julia, as they're starting to wrap things up down in the southern hemisphere, the southern sailing season. Here after the Ides of March on March 18th. Thank you, Steve Atkins, for that. I don't know if there's any comments. It's called frostbiting. Yeah. And I'm saying this to a Michigan. Well, you know, there's probably still ice on the lakes in the upper Midwest, in Michigan and Minnesota. Sometimes the ice leaves, and sometimes the ice remains until through March, even into April. But usually the real dangerous part for the cottages around the lake, of course, is that the ice starts to blow around the surface of the lake.
Oh, yeah.
It melts a little bit, and then you get a real windy day like you do in the spring. And it will blow the ice around right up onto the shore, and it'll sometimes remove the cottages, the homes, from their foundations. The ice is so big and so powerful. Our little lake has a dam that controls the lake level, and they let the water out in the fall, in the autumn.
So it won't be so high.
Lower the lake level, so when it does freeze, you got a little, you know, you got some sand and muck around the edge of the lake, but that all freezes over in the winter. You walk out there in your skates with skate guards on, or you put some dock, like your summer docks out over that so you can get out to the ice so you can play hockey or go ice boating. But the good news is that now, this time of year, the lake's still down, low level, which it helps, doesn't completely eliminate, but it helps prevent the ice from flowing up onto the shores quite as much as it used to do. Steve Atkins says they were delayed a week due to river ice coming down. What's the river? It's not the Connecticut River, is it? Ice is the reason to race a scow, says Ministry of Sailing. John Schaefer, Captain Jack, who's going to be on. When's Captain Jack going to be on the show?
Soon.
I don't think it's this Friday, is it? Captain Jack,
I don't think so either. But
is on next Tuesday, a week from today.
Oh, good.
And he will be back. He's been on the show 2 or 3. In fact, he was on the show driving across the Indiana Turnpike tollway one time. I forgot we've actually had people on the show live driving around in their car.
Sure.
Driving from Wisconsin back to Annapolis. Alan Long says the only ice is in his
Belize.
Rum and tonic, I guess an R&T is down in Belize, where he said at the top of the show was 85 degrees. Captain Jack will be with us a week today, next Tuesday. Rick Banner is saying, don't forget Julia's bourbon cream refill. Are you ready for bourbon cream, or are you okay there? It is your birthday after all.
I know. I'm not quite ready, but I promise I'll have it later.
After the show, you'll make Clayton Embley.
I wouldn't, but I enjoy it very much.
You'll make Clayton Embley happy. Okay, that gets us to the last leg, and I'm going to do a very quick 1-minute video here, courtesy of Rolex. I think you'll like this a lot, and it's apropos Sail GP, and I told you in the show notes at the top of the show, got to have a better word for that, show notes. You know, but do you like me? I've moved the show notes into the live body. We do the intro video, and then we talk about what's going to happen today, rather than having that run under that 90-second countdown clock like I used to do. Shall I go back to that? Let's see what the Fozy think. I like the new format, but I'm not wed to it. If anybody thinks our previous format was better. One more cupcake, Alan Long says. Julie, you want another cupcake?
Oh, no, I want to save it and savor it.
You got 3 more here.
Well, one of them is for you.
No, I don't eat sugar. You know that. I'm too old. Boy, those do look good, though.
But they are good.
And one of them, I mean, one is, I looked at when I ordered them early this morning, it had the DoorDash, bring them.
Oh, yeah.
One's pumpkin, one's, I mean, they're a variety. Yeah.
Oh, my.
See them. I don't want them to fall out of the box, but there's 3 more in there, Julia. Happy birthday. Okay, this Rolex video is really nice, a crowning experience.
Well, I think foiling is the biggest change in our sport, certainly in the last 30 years.
And here we go.
versus speed, they broke the 50 knot barrier.
And now it's a drag race to the finish line.
Insane grand final race.
Reach for the crown.
Aha.
There it is. I was not expecting such an, shall we say, edgy video.
Yeah.
Out of Rolex. Do you like it?
Yes, I do.
I thought it was okay. What did the Fozy think? What do you think in the chat? Magnus is on. He's saying many, many happy returns to Julia, a truly remarkable lady in our sport. Thank you for all you do. Indeed, Julia, thank you
Magnus.
for all you do. Oh, look at that. I didn't know Gordon Smith's mother was Canadian. That explains a lot. My wife's Canadian, Gordon. I won't tell a Canadian hockey joke about one.
No.
You don't like that joke. Stingray likes this racing. He has become and remains a big fan of SailGP. Thinks it's the best thing going in the sport. And I think others of you, including Clark Chapin, who's DBA his wife Karen today, I'll give it a thumbs up. He liked that video. Rolex does every video well. They know their audience, Clay Embley is saying. And Fog Machine, reach for the crown is better than reach. You want to read that comment, Julia?
Reach for the dingleberry.
Give him a wag of the finger, please. Huh?
And it's a matter of opinion.
It is a matter of opinion. Okay, unless you win a Rolex, the only thing more cheesy than a fake one, it's a real. Yeah, you got to have a real one.
Yeah.
I used to bring Rolexes back from Malaysia.
Yeah, I did too.
When you could buy them there on the street. And I brought one back when Tom Lewick, the founder of Scuttlebutt, Craig's dad, started that, and he always wanted a Rolex.
Mm-hmm.
So I brought him a fake one back.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you can tell they're fake because they're heavy, they're thicker and heavier, and the mechanism, it's.
And the minute, the second hand doesn't sweep.
Yeah, this one did. I don't think it click. I think it had I think it actually swept. I think it did.
Mm-hmm.
But you may be right. I don't remember. It was just so big and heavy, and I made a big deal and presented it to Tom. Here, I got you a Rolex, and he knew right away it was fake, as did everybody else who was there when I presented it to him at Cal Yacht Club. So from then on, we called it a Molex, a Malaysian Rolex.
Oh,
and then he finally got it. He got it himself, or his wife Barbara, or somebody bought him a real one. So bravo Zulu to Tom Lewick, who's also he's got to be 90 something, mid 90s now. And he's, last I knew, fit as a fiddle. Jeff Kitson, who had the first comment, maybe he's got the last one. I like SailGP also. Nice action. Rob Fry saying, don't wear it. Don't wear it on the street in Barcelona.
Yeah.
Well, if you want one, anybody, the robbers who are listening here, mine, I never wear it around the house, but I'm afraid I'll knock myself out. But I've had it for 45 years.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever I leave the Beach Street Yacht Club, I wear it because I don't want to have it have somebody break in here. They can take the computer gear.
Yeah.
They can take the studio. They can take the televisions. I don't think they'll go up the elevator and bother you, because crooks don't like elevators because people can turn them off.
And I can too.
Well, they come up and visit you. You might be, pleased. You could offer them tea and
a
cupcake. And,
sure.
You're so personable.
Ooh.
Savannah, Georgia. Tom Ogletree says, hello. And there was a comment above that from Gordon Smith, not a Molex, but a Bollocks. Okay, let's wrap this up, Julie, with the D block and your favorite segment. We got some good ones today. Apropos the Ides of March. You don't like that? I thought that was hilarious. That's creamy Caesar dressing.
Right.
You don't think that's funny?
No.
I thought it was, at two birds, I thought it was darn funny. You don't. Ooh, you're scowling.
I don't know.
Ooh. Uh-oh. I think that's a scratch. Ted Ryman, you didn't get Julia's approval on that, but you didn't get a finger whack because it's not dirty.
No.
Now this one, Julia.
Yes.
This is another Ryman, and I had no idea Pornhub was a Canadian website, but he's saying Canada's nuclear weapon in the Trump. It's the only political cartoon we have in the Trump trade war over these tariffs. Canada could shut down Pornhub, and it would leave 3 million users unable to access it. I had no idea. Ted Ryman, how did you know that Pornhub was a Canadian website? I'll give you a finger wag for that, Julia. Don't you think he deserves that?
I don't know if it's true or not.
I guess it is. I take his word for it. Okay, that was from Ryman. Number 3, this is a clever one. Germany is now advising people to stock up on cheese and sausages. This is called the worst case scenario. The worst case scenario. The worst.
Case.
I can't ever say it's the a umlaut. Case scenario. Case. You come on. Your husband was German. Your late great husband, the captain Conrad.
Yes, indeed.
But don't you think that's clever?
Yes. That
came from Ed. Ted gets us into some sticky situations, Clay Emily. Saying where the beavers. It's where the beavers roam. Oh, Canada. Okay, Julia. Now this one's also clean, but it's hilarious and it's true for people my age.
Yes.
I think I've reached the speedo limit. 165 pounds. I'm a bit over that. Not much. Captain Jack is saying Pornhub is Canadian because they need instructions for everything. You like this cartoon, though?
Yeah.
Pornhub is sticky, too. I like that one. You know where that came from? I miss Peter Taylor. I hope he comes out here again, brings Sandy, and comes visit us soon,
right.
Peter, is before the sailing season, because he gets busy there at Oak Cliff and all the other help he gives to various regattas. Like
Baby's coming out for
I'd have already heard about it if he was going to be here. Larry Kennedy, those guys get busy. Julia, this one is a clever one. Benefits of going sailing in a pie chart. No money, no girls, no fame. I don't know what those other colors apply to, what those other colors mean, but they don't mean money, girls, and fame. I thought that was clever. Is it stupid?
No.
Huh?
No. Probably true.
You don't like it. You don't like it. It's crickets. You don't like it. Gordon Smith liked this. See, he's very erudite. I think he went to Stanford too, Julia.
Well, I hope so.
That came from Bill Cook in Annapolis, who's become quite an umpire. So on, here's Julia. You'll like this one. Finally, from Alistair Murray. And that one says, question, how long does it take an average person to become a sailor? Question mark. The answer, an average person can never become a sailor.
Aha.
I may move that one to the last slide in the credits in the show. I like that one. That courtesy of Alistair.
That was a good one.
Murray, our president emeritus of Sailing Australia. Got to go, Fritz Mueller in Miami, and everybody else. Thank you for joining us, Julia. We are to the finish line, and you like to say,
thank you all for today. It was lovely, and don't forget to give us a little bit on the way through, and check the notes.
Read the comments on replay.
Read the comments.
Okay.
Yeah.
Julie, you're tired. This is taking a lot out of you this birthday. I have a feeling your cocktail's taking a bit out of you too over there. Happy birthday, Claire Harrington is saying, and everybody else.
Thank you, Claire.
And a reminder that comments are welcome even in replay. Those of you watching it in replay, thanks to all of you who do support us and help keep us on the air with our studio equipment and our exorbitant, and increasingly so, exorbitant streaming fees.
Oh, I know.
They keep going up and up and up. But you see the price of eggs has come down and down and down.
It has.
And the price of fuel is coming down too. Always nice to spend some time with our Fozy friends. Ted Ryman, thank you for your contributions.
Always.
And we appreciate all of you very much, especially those who have joined via patreon.com/join/Sailing Illustrated. Thank you so much for your support. Morris Stevens is saying happy birthday. Fog Machine is saying happy birthday.
Oh, how lovely, guys.
Probably see Fog Machine at the Yacht Club this weekend.
Really?
Lance Burke. Oh, he's usually there. Lance Burke for Sale GP. And thank you to everybody who gave us audio, video, and images for today's show. Quite a list as usual. Julia, what are you going to do on your birthday tonight?
Do I have to tell you?
Oh, no, it's none of my business. It's none of my business. Thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your week. We will see you, we hope, on Friday. In the meantime, sail fast, sail safe, and have fun. And, of course, ciao.